so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality and the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness, which creates and animates all things. After years of exploring this awe-inspiring truth on this podcast, I am super excited to announce that we are now going even deeper down the rabbit hole on the new late-night style consciousness elevating talk show called Optimistic, which features epic soul share interviews from the world's brightest luminaries, live painting from mind-blowing visionary artists, high-vibe musical performances, and last but not least, none other than you, the listeners. The show is being filmed out of the epic spaceship-esque property called the Mystic Manor that myself and the rest of the Optimistic crew now navigate reality from in the transformational vortex of Venice Beach, California. And there are multiple exciting ways you can co-create Optimistic along with us. Everything from coming to experience a life-changing, transformational Mystic Manor immersion week with me and the rest of the Optimistic family, which consists of workshops and unique experiences, including being on the show itself, to coming to participate as an audience member during a live taping, to viewing behind-the-scenes footage at the Mystic Manor each week, longer-run overtime interviews with my soul share guests on each episode, and even peeking in on our workshops and healing sessions each week. All of these options are outlined in detail on the webpage optimistic.tv. That's spelled OPTIMYSTIC.TV. To be perfectly frank, the cost to produce Optimistic is the biggest stretch I've ever made in my life. And it has been a huge leap of faith for me, trusting that if I leap, that the net will appear. So if your life has been enriched by Positive Head in any way, I'm asking you at this time to pay it forward by going to optimistic.tv and choosing one of the many ways to support the evolution of this podcast that is most in alignment with you so that we can reach a broader audience. There are options as low as $2.22 a month, and you can virtually experience life here at the Mystic Manor for only $7.77 a month. Pretty cheap, right? I'd also like to thank you in advance for honoring our soul contract to show up at this very special transitional time in our collective journey, as well as showing up for all the souls out there that will surely benefit from the monetary currency you were inspired to flow into this project to help us all step into a more optimistic world. Once again, the webpage is optimistic.tv. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all soon at the Mystic Manor. All right, all you positive heads, here we grow again. It is another day in paradise here at the Mystic Manor, and I have three lovely ladies here that have been co-creating magic all week with me and the rest of the Optimistic fam. And super happy to have Anne-Marie, Kayla, and Jasmine all here today.
Hello.
Welcome, ladies.
Hello. So excited.
So excited. There's been a lot of magic that's unfolded. I think a lot of growth. And it's still going. We're going from this to go spend a day hiking and sharing and connecting. And I know this week you guys have had the pleasure of having Michael and Lizzie here in town, who were actually on this week's Soul Share. So everyone out there listening has some insight. Michael's been on several times in the past couple years. But so you guys have had the Michael Lizzie full experience, and it is not for the faint of heart, right?
Oh my! I forget who said it. I think it was Michael. We were all in some sort of meditation, and he what did he say? He was like, well, Lizzie, you don't go light. She was like, yeah, no, we go deep real quick.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be the case. And so what I thought, and there's no right or wrong with these episodes, it's really just about letting the rest of the P-heads out there connect and hear, this optimistic journey, of course, is a brand new one for me as well. Setting up the Mystic Manor as the intention was a vortex for you guys to come into and really have a transformational experience while having a once-in-a-lifetime, one-of-a-kind experience. And I know that's not over yet. I mean, tomorrow we have the live taping of Optimistic, the after party, all that stuff. Many more adventures today. We're going into a cacao ceremony right after this, which is going to be pretty cool. And so, yeah, I thought, the idea of these episodes is just to share, and because, there's 111 spots here. We have 20,000-ish people tuning in every day at this point in Positive Head's journey. So there's a relatively few number of people who get the experience of coming here. And who wants to start off kind of sharing so far? I'm looking at the one who I know is ready. Kayla, you're up.
What do you want me to talk about, Brandon?
Anything you want. This is your microphone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What bubbles up for you most to share?
Okay. I think I just want to start by saying I have never, ever in my life experienced as much deep gratitude, like deep thankfulness as I have here. And I'm one of those people who, like, my mom's probably gonna hear this, but where we go to the grocery store, and especially when we were younger, she'd buy something, and I'd always in my brain be like, Kayla, tell her thank you. And it was almost like thank you, Mom. Like, it just didn't feel completely.
It was like you're doing it out of obligation, not out of sincerity.
Exactly. And I think a lot of the things that have been happening, and we can totally go into this later, especially when I'm like warmed up talking and sharing.
It doesn't usually take you have to warm up.
But the work, oh my God, guys, the work that we have done here, I walked in and I'm not gonna lie, I was so nervous. My mom dropped me off, everyone. My mom picked Aunt Maria up, she dropped us off. She wanted to, I think she was really nervous for me, but I was so excited. I was like, yeah, Mom, come, like, meet Brandon, come. I was just like,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I know,
I would have met her.
Well, she'll pick me up, so,
good.
and Aunt Maria, Jasmine, if you want to.
Awesome.
But, I was nervous, and I was kind of looking around, and, hearing Brandon talk about it, it's kind of like you're living it in your own worlds anyways, which is so cool to happen because, I mean, if you're thinking about like manifesting and putting out your intentions and what you want, him talking about it and sharing this energy, it's like, whoa, like you can if maybe it's not this experience, but if you're thinking about it and putting those positive thoughts towards it, it's like it's coming for you. So sort of walking in, I keep having to tap myself, like tap, and be like, this is real. Like Brandon sitting next to me, it's like, it's real that he's sharing his awesome frequency. It's real that Lizzie and Michael are, helping us to explore so deeply. And then beautiful Jasmine and Anne Marie here are, I've never experienced like dying laughing, cracking up on the floor, rolling around, like just whatever's going through me. So I think so far it's just such a profoundly deep experience where I will close my eyes and be like, Kayla, it's time to say thank you. Like they need to know how much like you appreciate them. And I'll sort of go into this trance of like, I don't know, my body and like just such deep thanks are coming out. So.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for being here. You've been such a light in this house this week. And that's one of the things that I've learned on the journey so far is it's a little challenging for those of us that are here all the time because we get so people come in at first and it's like, oh, you're new and it's maybe everyone's not quite acclimated and it feels odd for everyone a little bit. And then by the end, as it gets closer and closer to the end, it's like, oh, these are the people that belong here. And then all of a sudden when it's time to leave, everyone's like, what? Oh, hold on. We just got warmed up,
Right.
It reminds me a little of, that's how it is at Burning Man. Like, you go and there's all this magic happening, and just as you get settled in, and you start getting to know the neighbors and all, and then it's like, oh, it's over, and it's like, oh.
It's over, but it's not over.
It's not over.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's the perfect amount of time every time, because then all of a sudden, like right now, sort of what I'm doing is the integration process. Like things got so deep, so profound, just we went places that my mind, okay, like I guess just real quick, like an example of a story is like they'll ask, for example, we went through like, what do we want to create? Like, what do we want? And, you kind of go through question wise, like what you want. And the mind is talking about what you want, right? And then all of a sudden, they're able to guide you in such ways that I don't know, maybe it's the soul speaking about what you truly want, because my eyes will shut and it's almost like my mind kind of steps aside and like its little red wagon, I kind of imagine it as. And it has like the little whispers of like, wait, hey, what's going on? Wait, what is she doing? Because all of a sudden something so deep and profound like unlocks where the body is moving or the emotions are coming out. And it's so fascinating because the mind can't wrap its head around it during the experience that they're guiding you through, that it's just like deep stuff coming out. So now, integration time.
And those of you live streaming get to see the little dance that goes wow. So, Anne-Marie, what about you? How's your experience been?
It's been awesome, and I echo everything that Kayla said. Kayla and her mom picked me up at the airport, and it was like instant connection. And we just we can just look at each other a certain way and just start laughing, which we've learned that laughter is a very spiritual, kind of cleansing thing.
Such a beautiful release.
Right, but before coming here, I just want to point out to anybody, there's a 40-year age difference between the two of us. I'm old enough to be Jasmine's mother and old enough to be your grandmother.
Right.
And your mother.
Right.
And so I was a little nervous about that because I perceived that I was probably going to be the oldest person in the house. And let's face it, out there in the real world, we baby boomers are, a little bit judged as being irrelevant. So, and I've experienced that. Although I am the coolest, 60-year-old.
She's the coolest grandma out there.
You're an inspiration. Yeah, absolutely.
So I was a little nervous about that. So I just want to shout out to anybody who might be in that age group. If you're worried about that, this is a completely such a safe space. Normally if we thought that we were going to do this podcast tomorrow, and normally I would have freaked out that my makeup wasn't done and I didn't do my hair and all. Well, by day 2, I was just coming out in the morning in my pajamas and my bed head and no makeup.
And you look amazing.
And I look amazing with all these young people with very firm skin and, white teeth and all that, and just felt completely welcomed and completely comfortable. So those fears went away.
I love that.
Just right away. But the connection made with the people here is just profound. I feel like I'm making some lifelong friends.
It's to me, it's like, and I've said this to everyone, everyone who has come to the Mystic Manor, I've had a conversation with at least 15 minutes or so prior. And with each and every person, before they get here and once they're here, it feels like, and I firmly believe it's like a soul contract. So when you say, it feels like lifelong friends, it's like, I believe you and Kayla, 40 years apart, yet your souls are the oldest of friends and actually knew that we're going to the Mystic Manor at this point, 2019, I'll meet you there, and we'll reconvene and we'll grow together and we'll share and we'll reconnect like we've done in lifetimes before. And to me, that's like the most romantic, beautiful story. And I truly, truly believe that's what's going on.
I do too.
I think it's very interesting that you bring that up because every single podcast, I guess the 2 that have happened so far about this, you've talked about it. So coming in, I was nervous. I was like, I've read one book, guys, about soul contracts and stuff, and it was the first time it opened my mind up, and I'm still not completely feeling it as my truth. I sort of am more feeling like Anne-Marie and I we connected instantly. It's beautiful. Jasmine and I met. We share a bathroom. So every single night we're brushing our teeth. We're just sitting there talking. And soul contract or not, my brain isn't really wrapping itself around that. But there is a comfort and there is a instant sort of vulnerability and openness that is happening. So even if you don't believe that these people, were in your life before, even if you don't,
it's really irrelevant.
Yeah, it's so irrelevant. I think it's just more who do you feel good around? Who do you feel like you can sort of open yourself up to and talk? And also, who do you feel good to hold you when you're on the floor experiencing such deep stuff? That's sort of how my brain has been wrapping itself around it.
Right.
And just in less than 24 hours, you all knew way more about me than friends that I've had for 30, 40, 50 years. So that's the kind of safe space that's created in a very, very short period of time.
Wow, I love that. Jasmine, how has your experience been so far?
Amazing. It's funny that you brought up how you had conversations with us prior to us coming. Because initially I was going to come to California and I just wanted to, sit in on the live taping. But after like having a conversation with you. I don't know if you're just like an amazing salesman or
Which he probably is,
but
fully in alignment
but
with amazing.
it's coming from truth.
I hung up the phone and like booked instantly, and then like the next day was like, what the heck did I just do?
Yeah.
You know? And the beauty in that is like I feel like my spirit really wanted to be here. It kind of chose for me, but then it gave me the opportunity to really choose for myself.
Yep.
Because my bank had flagged it as a maybe potential fraudulent charge and called me. And at that time, I had the ability to back out.
Right.
You know? So I was like, I'm grateful that I got the opportunity to consciously choose.
Yeah,
you know?
that's beautiful.
You know, and then I said, you know what, I'm just going to go with the flow. And I did it, and I'm glad I did because like Kayla said, like, we went deep. We went deep very fast. I kind of feel like I've been here longer than I have because of just the intensity of what we've been through and me personally have tapped into and released and kind of just what was revealed to me. So when you say this place is a vortex, oh yeah, you feel it.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch your journey, especially because you when you first came in, it's like there's a certain shyness. Everyone's different personalities, and I could just see like layers. Even yesterday evening when we were talking, and I was just like, wow, I can see layers sort of removed. And you were talking about some of the huge moments you'd had of realization that a lot of the fears that you've had were really just like these made up sort of self-inflicted stories, right? And you could not only hear you talking about it, but viscerally feel that some of those blockages were removed. Was my experience in that moment.
Can I say something on that?
Yeah.
Something so fascinating about when Jasmine walked in is that we were all ready to eat dinner, and she comes in, and I am so honored to be able to watch these layers and pieces unfolding in the sense where I remember the first day we were sitting on beanbags, and Ian kind of looks over at Jasmine in the corner and says, "Hey Jasmine, okay, your turn. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us your story." And what came out was, I don't have, I'm not a good storyteller. I don't have stories, or later, the imagination. And guys, oh my goodness, it has been so cool. This girl has an imagination beyond belief.
Of course.
She has story upon story upon story to shed. And I think the most fascinating thing, too, has been sort of everyone here, Anne-Marie and Jasmine, watching the experience of us being coached through it, because then Jasmine will come in with a, "Hey, Kayla, this is what I saw in you, and this is, kind of what I felt." And it almost sheds, more light on the experience. And I am so, so thankful, whenever you, bring that type of stuff up, because it's like it clicks, / it's almost like you see me, and I feel more comfortable, sharing stuff with you.
The interesting thing about that is you do the same for me. So when you said that, I'm like, wow, like two mirrors,
It's all mirrors around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing for me to always consider is the people that end up here, coincidentally at the same time. I feel like are, obviously it's divine design. Like, why you three here this week versus last week the three that were, and I can even see a common thread between, the groups, and it's really interesting to watch.
And I even remember when you and I talked on the phone, you said that I was like, "Brandon, I'm in California over the summer. If I'm coming," which when we talked, I had no intention of coming for the retreat. You just had emailed me, and I was like, you know what? I can't pass up that opportunity. It just felt good. And then as soon as we got on the phone, it was almost like so I was actually walking around in the parking lot after dinner. I was like, I can't get in the car and talk in the car about this.
Right.
And it was almost as if my body was sort of just dancing and walking around, and we were just talking. And you said there's 1 week someone is not completely committed. It's July 29th. Let's see if you want to do it. And I remember instantly being like, "Yes, Brandon, duh, I want to do it. But wait, I gotta ask my mom."
Yeah.
Which I feel something interesting too about this age thing is yes, I in this physical body, I still don't really know. I am young, so it's just kind of funny joking around that I feel so much older than being like, "Hey, my mom dropped me."
Yeah, right.
But I think what I was saying about that is, this spot was the only week left in the summer of when I could potentially do it. I wasn't going to fly back from North Carolina to come here. And then we texted, and you were like, "Okay, yeah, the spot's yours." I was like, "Cool, okay, I'm going."
Yeah.
So, super awesome.
I'm so glad that you came. So, who has a story of something? Who wants to have any sort of a vulnerable share of something that they've released or worked through here? Someone's got something.
I'll share a quick one.
All right.
So I've been doing kind of this spiritual work for a long time, and I've had some other issues like feelings of unworthiness. And I might start to get emotional here, but we were having lunch with Jasmine and Lizzie, who is amazing.
Yeah,
And
they're incredible.
She shared that my mother was kind of hanging around.
Oh, wow.
And so
She's perceiving her like medium, like
right, like a
spirit.
channel.
Yeah.
Right. So I won't tell the story, or I won't be able to talk. But basically, long story short, is my mother kind of told me why she acted the way she did, which I kind of already knew, but it was
Confirmation.
It was confirmation. And she said, "I want you to spread your wings." And also, I had hired a previous medium who told me exactly the same stuff that Lizzie did. And before that conversation, I said, "Mom gave me a really beautiful butterfly necklace. That was one of the last gifts she gave me." And I said, "If that's really you, bring up the butterflies." So, of course, in that, the previous session, she brought up butterflies.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, long story short, so we leave the lunch and I go out and sit on the patio by the pool, and I look over to my left and there's a bird that I've never seen before, and I've been noticing nature right since I've been here because I'm into animals, and there's this bird on the fence spreading his wings.
Oh,
you know
wow.
what like a male bird does to attract
Yeah.
and like stood there for a long time, like kept doing it.
Wow.
And I was like, holy crap. And then when that bird flew away, then two butterflies
Wow.
kind of came in right like over the table.
Wow.
So that's just one quick story, but I think we have many.
Yeah. Wow.
Stories
That's incredible. You hadn't shared that with me.
Yeah.
I have a quick one.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Okay, so I would say before coming here, I used to have an issue with imagining things in my mind. I would meditate and images would come in grainy sometimes or not at all. Being here, that's not a problem for me anymore. And it kind of beautifully unfolded because I was able to see who my spirit guides were. And one of them being all of them being my family members, but one of them in particular I never met, which was my great-great-great-grandma.
Oh, wow.
And that was just kind of mind-blowing to me to just have these people appear
Wow.
so clear in my mind.
During meditation while you were here.
Meditation while I was here.
Oh, wow.
And that's always been a challenge for me. So
Wow.
ever since being here, I'm actually able to visualize things in my meditation. I'm truly grateful for that because that's opened a whole new realm of just understanding for me.
Wow. And yeah, it's back to that imagination thing. He's telling the story of, I don't have imagination. And it's like, and that's really probably just a telltale sign of someone with like a super vivid imagination that's sort of holding it at bay. Right?
That's what I told her in the bathroom as we're brushing our teeth.
Yeah, there you go. There's your confirmation. So,
I'll be your confirmation.
Yeah.
We do it to each other.
Yeah.
No, it's really fun.
What a trip. You shared a really beautiful story at dinner the other day, and it wasn't necessarily pertaining to here, but it was just such a powerful story.
Oh, which one?
Rainbow.
Yeah, right.
It was pertaining to here, actually.
Oh, yeah. I guess there's so many. I'm like
I know, right? Do you want me to
processing
share
them.
it?
Yeah, please. Yeah, it was here. Totally. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What day was that? Was that when we did the I Want? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. No, it was the day before. I guess not both days. Okay. So the first day that we really were doing deep work, it was a day of sort of establishing safety and trust and vulnerability. And I think I just want to, before I get into that story, say one thing of how important it is that we all have choice. And I hear about that, you hear Brandon talking about you have choice to decide. And it wasn't until we were in sort of the tent, it was us 5 working. And before we had even gotten into vulnerability stuff, we did a meditation, and then we wrote down the 3 things that we wanted to talk about that were vulnerable, which is I'm sorry, no, I'm not about to share this with these people, which doesn't feel truthful anymore because, they know so much more. So it was interesting, though, before we actually went into the deep work, and they call them it's like the hot seat, but they call it like spiritual love seats. So something that like, we'll do camping or do with anyone. So I think it's anything people can do. But they asked all three of us, do you feel safe here? And do you trust us? And it was so interesting to listen to that voice and say, you know what? Actually, like for whatever reason, my mind wants to say that I feel safe, but I don't completely feel safe. And giving that to them and whatever they did to sort of, I don't know how you guys felt about it, but transform that back. And then that, I think, so deeply allowed me, whatever happened in that meditation, to just go way, way, way in. So that's just one thing. I mean, really, really consciously decide, do you feel safe and do you trust when you go into any sort of like healing practice and just to feel that. But just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, the rainbow story. So we were doing a lot of shifting, a lot of energy clearing, feeling so good. That night, I was in my room, and I write in my little journal on the floor, and I was writing, and all of a sudden, I like see in my shadow on the page a rainbow. It was very faint, yet very vibrant. So I kind of just laughed, and I looked up at the ceiling. I was like, did I miss rainbows? Like, did I miss him like painting the sky or having some sort of light thing rainbows? And then I just kind of like was like, cool. So then I turned the page, and then in my shadow again on my hand now was a rainbow. So it was interesting, when I moved forward and when I moved back, the rainbow would disappear. So it was the fixture of the light with my shadow that was kind of making the rainbow. And I honestly, like, I didn't think too much of it. I was like, that's cool, that's pretty. Mm-hmm. Then I get into my bed, snuggle up, turn the lights off, and my brain is going ham. I am just like just thinking about like everything that happened, mixtures of like how deeply grateful I am for being here. And then I was like, I just want to run to Brandon and be like, thank you. So it just kept going and going and going. And I was like, you know what? I need to read. Like, I just need to put my mind to sleep. So I turn on the light, I grab the book, which hopefully Jasmine will say something, because in the bathroom I was like, hey, you might want this book. So I read the only other book I had there. I opened the page to my bookmark, and on the title of it was rainbows. So I just completely, like, I'm not kidding you, the feeling was like, just like kind of like that's funny. So I'm reading it. Oh my God, I've been asking this for the longest time. I was reading it, and it was a story about this woman who her husband had died just so suddenly, and her husband came to her through like a medium. She didn't ask for it, but her friend Jill had said, here, like, you should just meet with my friend. My mom's name is Jill, everyone. So that kind of just, sparked a thing for me real quick. And
there was already a thread there, another thread of connectivity.
But it's not necessarily, because I think after hearing Brandon with the whole synchronicities thing, it was like I was looking around and being like, this means something, this means something. But this truly, like, I felt it in me. It wasn't like I was trying to make something happen, which I think I've done before. But essentially, I was reading it, and the husband came to her and said, in 4.5 years, I am going to construct this whole thing and bring you, like, another love, bring you another man into your life. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be fulfilled. And I kind of broke down just with personal stuff. My dad passing away a similar time period. My mom just...
About 5 years ago.
About 5 years ago. My mom recently... through my own, like, following what felt good to me, my mom meeting someone through me, basically. And, like, that has been something that's been really tough for me. I'm not going to, you can hear it in my voice, but I'm not going to, like, go any in those directions. The whole point is that the lady didn't really believe her husband, didn't believe that he was there, and he said he was going to start sending her rainbows. This lady saw rainbows everywhere. And then she would ask, she'd be like, okay, that's like normal, that's a coincidence, give me another rainbow. So all of a sudden, in random places, he'd be sending double rainbows. And in that moment, I was like, I want a double rainbow. Like, I'm seeing rainbows, I guess now, I want a double one. So essentially, I'm reading this story, and I'm just like, I need to tell my mom. I need to tell my mom that it's okay for her to be happy, it's okay, I give that, like, I relinquish whatever is inside of me that was trying to hold you back because you're not with my dad. Almost thinking, wait, my dad might have been orchestrating this whole entire time.
Thing now, even.
So then I look at the clock. It was past my mom's bedtime, and she keeps her ringer on. So I was like, no way am I going to text her these pictures. So then the next morning, I forgot about it. I wake up, I have my phone like not on, and I just turn it on to see if there was anything I needed. And all of a sudden, coming through was a text from my mom with a rainbow. And then all of a sudden, because my phone was off, she sent it as a text message too. So I messaged, then text, another rainbow. And in my bed, I was like, oh! And then just since then, I've been seeing rainbows. And at dinner, like, Brandon was talking about it. And essentially, I just was walking, you said it, but I was walking past your laundry room into this room right now. And on the wall is the Somewhere Over the Rainbow with rainbows and butterflies. And I almost started crying. Of just how incredible the song Somewhere Over a Rainbow was in the book, and it just was talking about that it was that guy's favorite song, and I just instantly was like, that's my dad's favorite song. Or not his favorite, but like something he would play and reminds me of him. He used to play it for us. So yes, basically yes.
So the part that you left out was, so when we first moved in here, you guys may have seen, we were sharing a video when we were setting up one day, toward first few days, and my mom and dad and family were here helping that one day, and I happened to take a video and show all around the house. Well, my mom is very much like me and very strongly opinionated and willed and very Leo-ish, and she's like, her favorite song and one of my favorite songs is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So we had found this print that says Somewhere Over the Rainbow that you saw in the laundry room. Well, it originally was in the room that you're staying in, and we moved it because the picture, we felt like, oh, it's kind of, it was kind of a cheaper picture, and we're like, all the housemates, my mom was like, oh, I love this, put it here, and so we hung it up in there.
I love it too, at Brandon's mom.
Yeah, and then so we hung it up in that room, and then after she left the next day or so, we were like, yeah, let's put something a little nicer here. Let's take this Somewhere Over the Rainbow picture and put it in the laundry room instead. And but we had already named the room you're in when all this went down, the Rainbow Room. So wow, all that went down in the Rainbow Room, what we to this day call the Rainbow Room, even though that picture's not in there anymore. Yeah. And it got relocated. But what I love about your story that's so magical is you've been feeling some kind of way about, you helped your mom meet a new man and then feeling some feelings of guilt, like, oh my gosh, what about my dad? Even though your dad's gone. Yeah. And here's this story, a rainbow, on your journal. You then go to read a book because you can't sleep. It's bookmarked to the rainbow section where this woman talks to the dead spouse who says, I'm going to send you another man. Yeah. And you're doing this in the Rainbow Room. Your mom sends you a rainbow text the next morning.
Double rainbow.
I mean, guys, you can't make this stuff up. Like,
the coolest thing too, I think that I really, really learned from it, besides of just whatever the feeling is now that I have of what synchronicities feel like and what it feels like to sort of ask the universe a question and be like, hey, homie, I feel this way and I don't like this feeling, like, give me something. It's just at dinner, it was so many people, and I was at the end of the table, Brandon was at the end of the table, and all of a sudden I was like, hey, can I share this with you? And I think the power of sharing the synchronicity is super important, because he had a whole side of the story that I had no idea.
Yeah, right.
And it kind of just
weaves it
together and makes you almost think, hey, I'm really not making this stuff up. And sometimes I do feel like that, especially not around people with similar types of thoughts. I'm sure you guys feel similar too.
Absolutely, I would agree. That coming here validated that for me. I'm not making this stuff up. I literally got answers to questions that I thought were just so out there in my mind. And then coming here, they're like, no. Not at all. It really.
Wait, you're kind of normal.
Exactly.
Yeah, the layers of connectivity go deep. Yeah. Like, we're connected to the story. Obviously, you're here. My mom's connected to the story. Your dad's connected to the story. The person who wrote in that book is connected to the story. Wow. It's threads of connectivity.
I guess I didn't think about it like that.
We're all cosmically connected. I believe when we pass and get to go to the other side and we really have the blinders are completely removed and we get to see deep into like all the threads of connectivity, you're going to find some incredible story of, here's why I read that book at that exact moment, because I have this connection to this individual from this, other life or whatever it is, however it unfolds. I don't know exactly, but one thing that I've found is beyond a shadow of a doubt to me is it's once you start noticing the patterns and you get into this childlike state about it, an excited state, I mean, the layers get deep. This is just one story, right? And it just happens over and over and over and over again.
But even the aspect too, where asking something and then sort of seeing what comes after that has been super huge for me, because I've been thinking, I'm asking for all this stuff. I'm asking to feel clarity. I'm asking to, whatever is blocking in my voice to come out. And then I kind of just move on with the next question or instantly get frustrated. Hey, why aren't you giving me the answer? Why haven't I figured this out yet? And I've been thinking before I came here, it wasn't because I was giving myself enough space. Here, though, and that totally could be still true, and I'm sure it is, but here, though, it's kind of like the answers are coming. They're just not coming in the way that my mind notices how it responds. So just for example, we were in a meditation, and I was feeling super, it was, guys, it was the singing, like the singing bowl. So I was just, my mind blown
Sound
away.
healing.
Sound healing. My mind blown away of just, laughing because I'd never experienced something like it before. So all of a sudden at the end when we were in meditation, I laid there and I was like, okay, Kayla, you need to feel open. I'm sure what she did was awesome. You need to feel open. So I scanned through my body and was like, okay, openness, openness. And all of a sudden I started dying laughing. And I was like, shoot, I can't laugh. These other people are in meditation. Like I can't ruin their experience for them. So I tried to refocus my brain onto the point of where I stopped and open, open, open. And I started laughing again. I was like, oh my God, stop it. So then, one thing led to the next of just Anne-Marie waking up and us just having the time of our lives. But it was interesting because then Lizzie, after I just told her randomly not to get anything out of it, just to say, I just had the best laugh ever. And she was like, wait, Kayla, did you just see what you did there? You asked to be open, and then you thought you were doing something of how you should open. And even if you did that or if you didn't, your body or whatever was sort of answering you. You just need to sort of notice like that laughter was that openness, that release that you were experiencing. So I think what's cool is almost if your mind says it or not, what if we're going, someone said this, but what if we're going at the same pace this whole time? So like, I'm really, really, really trying to make something happen versus I'm just going to do nothing about it. What if we're on that same sort of like progression? Like what if we go at the same speed? We're just trying really hard in one part and in the other part we're just letting go. Something
Right.
I've kind of recognized.
Absolutely. Interesting. Well, this has been fascinating, ladies. Is there anything any of the three of you would like to share as we sort of wind down?
I think we're all going to meet on the other side and have a really great laugh.
For sure.
I definitely think.
Remember that time?
Yeah, remember that time we were at that Mystic Manor place that we made up and imagined?
I would like to give a shout out to Ian, the chef here.
Oh, Ian!
Because I've been vegan and vegetarian on and off throughout my life, but haven't been in a long time, and I have never had such fantastic food. And after however many days we've been here, I lost count. I just feel so much lighter.
Yeah.
And it's just been really.
Also, such a special being making the food, and sort of this morning he was. Anne-Marie asked, "What's in the dish?" And he'll go through chef style, like the fig and the berry and the smoothie and all this stuff, and then he goes, "And made with love."
Yeah.
We're all like, "Thanks, Ian." Like, yum.
He's such a you would not probably guess
He'd be a
Ian
chef.
would be the chef,
No.
right?
Great.
No, he looks like total surfer dude,
Yeah.
which he is too.
Yeah, totally.
I have something that
Please.
a huge takeaway from this experience is when we were having a session with Lizzie and Michael in the tent. It was so we were privileged to be able to witness that. I'll say that now. Before I was just like, whoa, but very privileged, and that experience was so powerful. It taught me something about myself, where if I am in what I perceive to be an uncomfortable situation, my ego kicks in and takes over. And like, I'm glad that when it did happen and I was feeling uncomfortable, but I knew I was in a safe space and I was comfortable with the people, it was just maybe a little intense for me. That a skill that Lizzie and Michael had taught me was to tap on my heart.
Right.
And when I did that, I got out of my head.
Yep.
I got into my heart, and I was able to
EFT.
be calm in that experience. And that was like a major life lesson to me, because I can see how I do that. I get into like fight or flight mode.
Yep.
And then my ego's like, no, I'm taking the control of this shit, and this is what we're gonna do. And I had to really fight to like shut that voice in my head up and just to be open. So I'm very grateful for that.
And what was on the other side of that for you? Once you overcame the fight or flight thing and sort of moved through it, was probably a really powerful experience, right?
Yeah, I mean, it made me think just things aren't as bad as I perceive them. I need to just be open to really just be open.
Yeah.
Like if one thing makes me uncomfortable, or I just kind of just have this out of body experience, like I need to just go with it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Sonia Sophia, who's on regularly, EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping, we have, I don't know if you guys have heard, the mini taps that we do.
On my bike in the airplane, I'll be like, listening to you guys.
Or Alexa, yeah, that's funny. Or Alexa, who, is on Friday a lot of times with the P-Head Posse episodes. She also is a practitioner, and it's a powerful, simple but powerful tool.
Yeah, for sure. Can I say one thing?
You can say whatever you like.
Oh, wow. Could I be on this all day?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No,
this is going to be an 8-hour podcast,
guys,
everyone. Buckle
you
up.
would not want that. Plus, I'm sorry if ears are being blown out or anything.
You're wonderful.
I think, a couple things for me is that I read a lot of books and I sort of have conversations with people. So, the whole thing about maybe you're either looking at a fear or you're looking at a love. Stuff that I read it feels powerful, but then again, it's sort of just coming into the mind, and it's like, hey, mind, take a note, take a look at what this is. This is important. But I've never been able to sort of embody it or experience it. So it's kind of just like the words have different layers. So I think if anyone is considering coming here, doing any sort of spiritual type of practice, if you're nervous about seeing a healer, or if you just don't know if this is what you're called to, I think if I were to go back to things from here that I learned that I would take with me, or even in the future, if something like this presents itself again, which it will, is theory and tools. So basically all the stuff I was doing was theory. It was great knowledge because my brain needs that knowledge. My brain needs it. My brain needs it. Mm-hmm. But then having people you so trust and feel safe with giving you the tools. So Lizzie and Michael will kind of just randomly, we'll be eating breakfast, and Michael will look at me and he'll be like, hey, Kayla, say this to yourself. And I'm just like, Michael, how did you know that's exactly what I needed? Or I don't know, just little things like that. Or even what Jasmine's saying with tapping on your heart. These are things that are so easy to do, and then to see the drastic shift in them. But also something that sometimes you just can't get there by yourself. So I think if you're questioning and you're wondering if this is for you, to ask yourself what you want. To sit with yourself and just genuinely ask yourself what you want. I was, in this case, not feeling confusion. I think, like Jasmine said, something took over me, and I was like, duh, I'm coming. There was no doubt about it. But so many things in my life I get really confused about because the mind comes in, the layers come in, yada, yada. So I think just ask yourself what you want and then feel into both sort of realms. So go through visually, if that works for you, what each path will lead, and then from there make your decision. It doesn't need to feel instantly I want to go. No, sit with yourself. This can be a great practice to sort of, hone that skill, and then come here if you so feel called to, and learn so many tools you can integrate into your life.
That's a great point, because I'm retired, and so I have gobs of time to kind of do all this work, but you kind of get into your routine, and this was a great reset, because I didn't have my phone on, it's just a really great reset to immerse yourself. The immersion is an excellent word for this experience, and I just want to thank you for making it possible.
Oh, I want to thank you guys for making it possible, because really this is a co-creative effort. I mean, it's you guys coming here, having this experience, co-creating this experience. It's because of you that we're getting optimistic off the ground, and I know in my heart it's going to have such a ripple of impact in the world, and you guys are truly staples of that, and we'll feel the energetic repercussions of that.
And even now it's just the ripples and ripples and ripples. Oh my goodness, I'm so curious what's going to happen, because if this is what we're experiencing now and what other guests have been saying they're experiencing, wow, just kind of blowing up the world in some sort of way, a layer off the world maybe.
She said something that made a question popped in my head. So with all the guests that you have here doing all this work, there's a lot of influx of energy. So I'm wondering, with this being a vortex, I don't know, do we have any, I don't want to say influence, but maybe impact on future because of that energy?
That's a great question, and I would say, just back to the rainbow story, it's all threads of connectivity, right? You were connected. Last week, Kyle was here from North Carolina.
Wait, Kyle, I'm going to text you. You wrote in the book that I have in my room, and I saw North Carolina. Also, I saw your phone number, so watch out. And then Brandon said you live in, well, maybe I shouldn't say it to the world.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay.
Greensboro.
In Greensboro. I go to school there. I fly, right next to Greensboro. I fly in through Greensboro, so.
There you
get
go.
ready.
And knowing you both very well now, you two are going to like love each other. So that's a great example. They're already connected. They're already like, you know what I mean? So we're all one big soul family. And just like that tree you're seeing there, you know, if you take that tree on the wall in front of us, and you say that's source, right? It is this, imagine source is this massive, massive tree that is infinite in scope and scale. However, there's a branch with two little leaves flapping in the eternal breeze next to it. And that's what we're doing. You guys have tuned into Positive Head, which led you here to the Mystic Manor and now co-creating Optimistic, because I believe we're such close soul family. We happen to be on that same cosmic branch, and we have decided to grow together, and you're experiencing growth because of this experience. I'm experiencing growth because of this experience, and it's a net positive. It's a win-win for everyone. And that's the thing, no matter what you're doing, whatever endeavor, this is what I've decided to focus my attention and life on. It's like, it's got to be about win-win. It's got to be a win-win-win when in anything that you're doing. And if it always is in some way entails serving others, that's going to be a powerful component to look at. Yeah. And so I think these are great things to look at whenever you're deciding what direction. Well, what direction do I go in? Well, as Gandhi said, if you want to find yourself, lose yourself in the service of others. And I like to add to that, why? Because there are no others. So what I'm doing in facilitating for you guys, I'm doing to an extension of self. Therefore, I feel the energetic repercussions. It's the good kind of selfish. Everybody's winning. And I definitely feel like this is a major, major win having you all here. And I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for showing up.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And for those of you out there are, between now and next July, we have, we're doing 37 weeks of retreats with 3 spots each week, and about half of them are filled at this point. So if you're still interested, I have a feeling once Optimistic comes out, I'm seeing the edits, like as they come together.
Thank you, Everett.
It looks, Everett is the creative director, and
wonderful.
They are surpassing my expectations, how they're looking and coming together. I really feel like the show's got some magic and energy behind it, and once it really kind of gets out there, I think it's going to be, I could fill the 100 Mystic Manors. Not that I would ever want to, because I'm not that crazy. But
see, that's something I was thinking about. We were talking about it this morning. It's like, okay, this is happening now. What if all of a sudden, not that you'd want to make it like a chain or anything, but these are like popping up everywhere around the world, and then people are having these transformational experiences.
Kayla's running house number 2, y'all.
Okay, find me there. Brandon can help train me. Love it.
If you guys are interested, while there's still spots, reach out to me. I'm happy to work with you on payment plans and all that sort of stuff. And I've done everything I can to make it as absolutely reasonable as possible. You guys can reach me at brandon@positivehead.com, and we can set up a brief little chat and see what we can do to magic up you soaring through the Mystic Manor vortex yourself. And with that being said, thank you guys, as always, out there listening. Thank you 3. I'm looking forward. We got a day ahead. We're about to go into a cacao ceremony, then an epic hike, and we're filming the show tomorrow. We got a lot of goodness left. So
guys, we got a lot of Brandon left.
A lot of Brandon left. For better or for worse. They're stuck with me.
No, we're so excited.
All right, everyone. We love you so much. Everyone tell them.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Till next time. Journey well.